Good morning, or whatever it is, wherever you are. So I think last time I already started looking at ways we could do this. I think the setting system config system. No. Might be able to be used for that. Might be a little bit of a misfit, I'm not sure. But we've got all the stuff about figuring out where to save it. It would otherwise kind of have to reproduce. And this is all code that normally runs once at startup. Yep. And the other thing we need to change, turn off that simple music. And the question is, do I have to change all of this stuff? Okay, config. Wait, I already started this. Or I took a stab at it. Okay. So see, I set up that. Set the load and the hooks. And there was something that we had. Yeah, that's the whole thing. It's a relaunch thing. Input. Oh, on exit. So is this an actual error? Show errors. None there. Was it 2 just to reload? No problems there. We do a back. We have to go over here now. Nothing there. Local profiles is where that would ideally be. Wait, so fast flow DJ config. Okay, I did it separate just to see it happening. I might want to see if we can put it in the same folder. Config save. Theta save. Well, there's part of your problem. That's apparently just a no-op. Okay, and that was actually saved in memory a little bit. No new files. I don't remember if there was a way to load this stuff in the main system. I mean, short of just copy pasting it into your layer file. But we called an explicit save. I don't know where ScreenMan system messages go. Where can I get something useful out of this? Write self.name. Slot we think is just a string. But that is a restart. Okay, write config, write theta. We got a file name for theta. The other one probably wasn't dirty. So we have to figure out. Oh. Okay, so what sets the directory name? Get file name slot. Sanitize profile slot. Profter. Okay, Profter is save. config prefix, use alternate config prefix, or theme get cur theme name config. Okay, so that was actually an automatic name. So I don't know when that suddenly started working. But if it's saved, it can theoretically be written. And actually, it's not writing anything more than I need. It like ranges and defaults and stuff. So I think it loads by default, and I'm gonna have to look for other exit points as well, because it would also have to look at like game exit. So that's using that. There is a place where we init this. There's an initial theta. We go through rater category, we go through polynomial. That's the individual factors. Okay, we should have all the stuff. Now, I don't have a very tuned up matrix right now. But when we start up normally, well, yep, it would actually attempt to do that. Attempt to index a nil value. Oh, that's initial theta, not and then that's assigned to actually a copy of it. So this needs to be. Or actually, do I? No, okay. Initial theta might actually be a thing in and of itself. That's supposed to be a completely blank slate. So where do we assign that? Well, that's when we reset it. Would that normally be on startup? Oh, no. Reloaded, so we're not on that screen. Right, that's a persistent variable, so that may have messed things up. Attempt to index a nil value. Hmm. Didn't I have a function for print table, rec print table to stir? Hey, Rini. So you balance, you balance. Sweet. It's kind of a cool rainy morning here. I guess you can still make the best of it. And we actually close that. Let's call a nil value sanitized profile slot. Is it possible it hasn't actually started up yet? This is sort of script loading stage. Indeed. Yeah, it's been raining. It's been kind of raining all week. Uh, we'll have to see if the bike path is flooded on Sunday. Assuming it's even biking weather. Let's see. Can I? No. Well, not real. Yes and no. It's like I try to bike the places I can instead of driving. But other than that, I don't like have bike outfits or anything. Okay, so that does that mean it was nil? We got flow DJ config, which only shows up at later points. Really only save triggers. Okay, table, profile slot. There's definitely some stuff in there. Well, thanks for stopping in. Oh. So your get data is not returning anything. What about config? Because I mean, well, I've got the get setting wrapper on it. Forgot about that. Okay, so it still doesn't like that. What are... I mean, this loaded up okay. That you? Get data or the default. Like, am I typing this right? Oh, I still had this one on. That would still be in... Well, no, if that was... Yeah, no, actually... my random number. Oh, we still got this stuff going on. Here a little bit later. Of course, I think this version might be more aggressive about deduping messages too. Okay, we are seeing that trigger, and we're not seeing that stuff. But with the deduping, it's kind of hard to say. Is it not play? I copied that from here. So that seems to be the right value. Because as far as I can tell, the settings work. So we know the config exists. Is get data trying to actually load? It is trying to sanitize profile slot. And that's what it's complaining about. Method sanitize profile slot. Did I do something to break this actual load of the script? No, that's still unhappy. But that didn't trigger when I did my startup get settings. What? Oh, is that a local variable? I know we had other references to it here for save. So it's telling me that that code is doing that, and at the same time, this code is working? What? I guess it has the OR in there? The default is local. I think those become global. How can this be? Oh, okay, that's actually having trouble with the default config. That is not in scope here. Also setting. Right. The string 16 is already in there, and they're super aggressive about blocking that. I think that's what's happening. Oh, maybe it's trying to print the table properties, which ends up trying to call the functions. So this works. Hello DJ config get data. I think I may have bumped too many keys there. Error running callback. I'm actually not sure if writing this at the top or the bottom. Attempt to call nil value sanitized profile slot. This might be print table itself. Trying to do too much with the function. Which is a little bit... A little bit of a problem because I don't know how to debug it. Oh, there's a low DJ. Okay, so that's no error. So the problem here is actually attempting to print it out. So get data is not just a table, it is just the data. Self.dataset. Now you see, you'd think it would be this. That's where sanitized profile slot comes in. Dataset slot. Well, it does say deep copy get default. Well, is that self? It's definitely copying something, though. There's get default. Sanitize profile slot. Return self.default. Params.default. We might not have a... Yeah, because that gives you actual default values. I wonder if it's upset because there's no values for the keys? Anyway, can we run that without error? Well, if that raised an error... All right, we're pretty much done with you. Is there anything else that will be raising that message? It wasn't playing a sound before. Which I think means that it was crashing before it got to play a sound. Well, that's like the same... What? So if you don't reference into it? Okay. What? What? Apparently I don't understand what this is doing. I thought it was returning a table. But actually performing the ind... Or not? Syntax error. Okay, it probably doesn't like having this loose expression here. But that's still an error. What? What? Okay, I guess I typoed something here. Oh, I've been lazy using dots. That passes the self. Okay, so that's empty. How about you? Now you see, that's actually something. Which says that we've saved it. But we have not correctly loaded it. Get file name. Does file exist? Not does exist. From file, type of from file equals table. Apply force. Dataset slot equals from file. We've got an F name. We've got does not exist. We've got does exist. Exit. before I just try to print anything out, let's just nail down the startup stuff. We might have to look at the okay, player slot, flow DJ config. And it scrolled off. We do have to look at the logs. Oh, I think this is just saying that any of these things fired. Report script error. Does exist table. So config does exist. It is a table. Theta does not exist. Oh, you know what? This is save. Not the profile specific one. And this still has a leftover, so that's believable. Local profiles. Local profiles does exist as a table. Does exist as a table. This is only their attempts to print that out. Rec print table to stir. Okay, there's this basic settings. Doesn't exist down there. Oh, I actually have to start a game to load profile. But I still don't have it here. Maybe it initially loads the non-profile one and then says, oh, I'm loaded. And yet here it is. But does it actually write that into the... And does this happen... Where does this happen relative to me loading my screen and looking for it? Well, let screen profile load. That actually happens before pick. Alright, so 747 is after this. They're doing all that stuff. Got a normal startup. That's just a math that random. Is that not loading it into that slot? Loading profiles. Oh. Does exist table. Number. What the heck is it doing then? It does exist. Slot file name. Config floaty theta.lua. There's all the numbers. Okay. Since I'm printing it once, it might be deduping that. No, they're just another end. Get data from that slot. Did I have the slot name in there? Player number P1. I don't really have it in the... Right, it's probably deduping player number P1 does exist in table. But that's only in this overlay. We do see those in the actual log file written out. It's got a different config because it's using a different file name. Dataset slot. Sanitize profile slot. What does this end up as? I mean, the get file name seems to work. Oh, if it sanitizes that to something else, and I won't actually find the data there. Yeah. Yeah, I need a log file for that one. Because it might be exactly the same. Oh, nope, that's a restart condition. profile slot player 1, but it probably does the same thing when you do get data. Sanitize profile slot. What the heck are you doing? Get data, get data. I didn't see a default there. Yeah, it's probably all our little get setting calls. Player 1, profile slot player 1. Where did you go? Profile slot player 1. Not defaulted, self dataset slot. What's apply force? Self.match depth, false.match depth. Force table elements to match type. I don't have a get default. Well, kind of what it's doing, I think. This is saying match depth, though. Is that like a option that I can turn on? Requires a file field. Creating a Lua config without a default. Well, it is a table. It's just an empty table. Yeah, so this is targeted more for a config system where we'd have sensible defaults. What is match depth for, though? It is a param. If it's defined, and the startup function says it's going to be defined, match depth not equal to 0. So I think we need to put match depth 0 on this. That seems to be all it's used for. You know, or I have to do something to go in and redefine that stuff. I have to like redefine the defaults after the fact. It's inherently defined there. Oh, there's another copy of it. So it was forcing things to match the default. There were no defaults, so it was forcing them to not exist. Okay, that's a little check that we're loading something. We had the back button, just saving. This doesn't actually load anything. I did leave some stuff here. Only if we're using it, that's probably fine. And the only issue here was that. And that has the correct colon style. I should probably clean up our stuff. Oh, I could have used that as an opportunity to save, but oh well. Ooh, didn't like that. Attempt to index a number field. Maybe I didn't put key in my update there. Theta equals, yeah. Oopsie. Can that seem to start off a little bit more tuned than before? We're actually at a relatively high cost right now. But that has evolved a little bit, and right now back should be writing out. No, actually, that's in memory anyway. We actually have to exit and restart to see this work. See this working. Okay, that was our printout where we did that. Model started off pretty much where it left off. Like, do we really have to go through all that every time? Get data. Well, to see the effect, you have to restart. Because we do keep that variable around. I could probably set something up to not keep it around, but... So that should be able to get relatively well tuned over time. Actually, speaking of notes, that seems to be working. I did add a space. Oh, I might have had this stuff nuzzled up to there. Oh, no, that was part of... it's not a blank space. Just that block. Um... Executions of the program? Program runs? Okay. The other thing... Right now, all of these numbers are based on high scores. If you actually get worse over time, which, since my pad is flaking out a little bit, kind of happens, it wouldn't necessarily be representative of that. Could we, well, it's going to be a lot of data to keep track of recent runs. It might be a bigger project than I want to take on. So this... Huh. So the game has, let's see, save. Has stats.xml, which has like tons and tons of stuff in it. Somewhere in here, it's not very well formatted. Steps, type, high score list. Nums time played, less time played. Score, percent is what I'm generally going off of. Player, machine. I've actually been in a machine-only score. But I think that's all handled by the C systems. I would actually need to have... Well, I need a way to key it, which I don't know how that's working. Steps. This is steps within a song. Song, step, song. Yeah, so this is path dependent. So I guess we lose this history every time I move something. But it's just a string path. So, does the config system allow you to store tables? All right, and that's in the startup code. And we now have a highly tuned model. All right. What we want to do is something like... Well, we need to work out when we would actually do this. Normally you'd update it. Right now we kind of have like a one-time conversion. I guess that would look something like if that is empty, then convert all the high scores. We've got some code that does that somewhere. Has to go through everything and score them. Possible steps. Oh, that is everything. Now selection. Well, this is for selections, maybe? I think possible steps is everything. Well, I wouldn't want to save the predictions. So probably we want someplace else where we're setting up like possible steps. Got steps by step type. Song length. Did I never end up using that? Oh, calc NPS. Yes. Get score, player profile, get high score list if exists. So we probably use that, well, really only one place. So that is an actual score. We would want to be like our average score if we did that. So it's like if we look it up, and this is high score. In theory, I could already do some averaging there, but actually probably would want to move like all of the high scores over. Get high scores, and we've got the songest argument. We're not really using it right now. I need more water. I'll be back in a little bit. For science, but you can't really drag yourself, unfortunately. Now, this could be this. Now, I could maybe see this being more interesting in multiplayer, where you could drag it farther. But yeah.
I'm a little bit glad that you're on your phone now, Miss Red Rabbit, because that means that you're not making clips. Yes, I want to get out of this school as well.
No. Not this one, but set this one. Set card collection visuals, right?
Okay, and yeah. Goodbye, Rainy. So I realized I forgot something. Load is fine. We only save this on the back button. Alright, so that's you. That's sort of global data. Oh, that was a direct call to it. I did have some helpers on the other stuff. What did I do already? Oh, we were starting to do that. Yeah, set setting, get setting. That was more functional. Oh, and since I'm modifying this file, I think we have to wait on this. Function. Hmm. Do we assume the global here? It's pretty easy to parameterize. Now these do both have a, we already have the save here. So maybe we just go up to there. It's not really a save then, is it? No nasty message. There we go. Have to call a nil value global. That should be pretty similar to this, no? Okay. Helps if you save. Okay, so we definitely loaded. Floating G config. 950. Right now, hooked up on back. 1001. And then we also need to do this. Well, we probably, there's gonna be more than one place we do this, right? Start next game. So it would be there. Of course, we're gonna get this stacked up with the stat stuff too. That should be fine. Let's fake this out. Fake play. No problems there. Save theta. All right. Can we use this? I was looking for a place in the program. With at least examples of the code, if not a place we can hook into. And it's not going to be exactly the same because we want to get all of the scores. Hmm. I'm not sure if I want a sub function just for this get score part. You are actually building up all songs. We're gonna have. It does save the song. We're gonna have our possible steps list, so we've got that. So something like this would go through all of those. Wait. Oh yeah, song and steps. Possible steps, song steps. That's gonna be different steps. So it's gonna be a high score list for steps.song and steps.steps. And then we're going to have multiple scores. And a score is an object. And we want to say hello DJ stats get data. I think that was it. Oh, right. Did we want to do this hierarchically or just have keys? Well, I need to figure out a key system. So what they did was song path, game mode. Is there anything else in the docs? I guess it would have to be on a step. Not a screen, it's not an actor. The steps file name. Hash, maybe, would be suitable for my purpose. I don't know what it's a hash of. That might. Well, on one hand, it would be proof against moving the file. On the other hand, it could be sensitive to very small changes. If you change a author field or something. What does a file name look like? It's going to be spammy as heck. Oh, this is steps get file name. Does score have anything interesting? There's no search on there here, is there? High score. No. Well, these might end up being arrays because you do want to have multiple things per. Steps dot steps. Was it get file name? Get file name. Of course, we have to call you. Somewhere around here, maybe? Oh, do we have possible steps here? We are at 580. No. Add factors, fake recent. Oh, well, definitely gonna have to be before scored. Get high score on bad self, song or course. Oh, does player profile not exist yet? That's early startup. Bad self. So does the player profile then go and call it something on the song? What was the bulk? It was multiple brackets. Well, okay, so that was not the viewer I would have liked. Stack Overflow? Well, I could maybe see that. Especially if I started trying to load up self-recurring properties. Do we have anything else in there that would be useful? Notes per second meter score. I can try going for direct properties. No, we're going for file name. Well, I can look that stuff up without doing the high score stuff, which I think is where it actually fell over. Field steps. Oh, is possible steps not what I think it is? Possible steps equals possible steps. Table dot insert steps equals steps, song equals song. Add pair is possible. Add pairs possible steps. Cell.song get song file path. Well, that seems to work for everything. Stats. Oh, that was still StepMan. Get title path. Song file, was it song file path? Is it thinking? Oh, no, this is the wrong screen. Oh, this is, yeah, song. Oh, thing that didn't reload. Attempt to index the nil value field song. I copied code that was cell, not steps. Oh, that is steps. Anything is hard. That should pretty much explain all of our problems here. Okay, we did a table dump on something. Oh, is get file name like some kind of object? Turn string. No, is that a leftover? Those are the tab characters. $457. Attempt to call an L value. It seemed to get it once. Get main title. I don't seem to have used that anywhere. Have to be get something right. Song file path. Attempt to call a null value. I guess we have to check for it existing? I don't know why I would have something in there if it didn't exist. Unexpected symbol. Is that not block comment? All right, I guess we just have to check for null steps. I guess that we are ultimately calling it if exists here. I'm going to need these properties. Just continue. Is it next? That might be a keyword. syntax error. Alright. Actually, did they have a link to the specific version? Oh, 5.1. Break. Well, maybe we don't. I should have put a giant if around everything. It says possible steps. Oh, it's probably maybe deduping? I'm not actually sure how the file structure goes for these. Let's see. Songs are actually going to be over here. Okay, it is only one file. So there are things besides the file name at play here. Yeah. What do we need here? Chart name, description, difficulty. Well, that's a useful function. Maybe you need some setup first? I don't know. Seems to be depreciated, though. So the file name is roughly equivalent to the song. Background path. Music path. Song file path. Oh, that's the same as the steps. Which wasn't what the other high score thing was using. Songs pack. I wonder if that last name matters. Actually, I think they were dropping off that file name. Does that make that the song dir? Okay, so looks like that was the song dir. And so that's all the song stuff. Look at SEP's type in meter. Well, is it meter or... Is that even printable? Value expected. Ah. Keep free to call object style. Yeah, okay, so... Well, could you have multiple things that are difficult? I mean, usually they're different. But would multiple things even necessarily have a meter difference, depending on what you were doing with it? Don't use it anywhere else. Okay, that's like author or something. This is going to be like song. That's also author. Yeah, get difficulty seems to be about the closest. Get song dir. Those should be different. All the ones we can see are different. If high score list. Get data player key equals score get percent dense point. Printing out this entire table might be in our Stack Overflow. We're going to be referencing this a lot in here, aren't we? This is supposedly for all. This is supposedly for all scores. Beginner, easy, medium, hard, medium, hard. Couple for each. There's some I obviously haven't played very much. Oh, but I don't want to assign a number to that. If it supports structures, a list might be nice. Now, I suppose if it supports structures, I could actually save a lot of key length by compressing some of that. I forget if we have array syntax, because like all arrays are tables technically. Do we have then methods that work on array-like things, or is that still the table insert? Might be table insert. That probably means that this won't be printable. So was that an error that we can't see because of the previous stuff? There's a command for that. Maybe. Yep, unexpected symbol near. Where are you? Oh, it might be this. Does that mean it have to be that? Well, possible is indeed equal to this style of table. That is a table holding objects. Table expected got number. Oh, right. That's sort of a... sort of a system object. Oh, easiest way to reset. Just to restart. Oop. Now what did 9 do? Send notes ended. Well, it doesn't matter here. Songs 1, 2, 3. All right. What do we have to do? And I actually moved my save profile thing, didn't I? No, there it is. But there it not is. Oh, I think... does that need slot 2? All right, and that is a large file. Oh, some of these actually do have... Of course I... Oh, yeah, no, we're just building it up every time. So really... we need to reset this every time. If that's even allowed. Did that get bigger? Well, individual lists are more reasonable. We shouldn't be seeing... I thought the first one had entries in it. Of course, this might be already scrambled. So that might be changing it. All right, well, assuming that if it saves that format, it can load that format. What do we actually want to do here? We've got songdir, steps type, difficulty. I think I might follow the XML in that steps type and difficulty aren't really going to change. Well, if you put it in every entry, then you're repeating it for every entry. But we would need to... Also, we got too many steps. Item... I must have mostly used steps. We do use the song once down here. Okay, also there. That's the overall steps. We're going to refer to these things at least more than once. Not stat stir. Maybe this would be something to do in the get possible steps, but I think that might get called multiple times. Then you'd at least be going through each song and then each steps. So maybe I should actually be like kind of reproducing, well, that would not then necessarily take into account filtering steps that I put in, so... Well, this is supposed to be more of a one-time thing. Maybe it wouldn't hurt to go get stats for other things. Stat stir, and then local. If not, local, step stats, and then the final step. So step stats is a list of difficulties. This is the cost of hierarchical storage. Table.insert. And then I have to do something. I probably only want to keep a certain number of these around. But I also don't have something convenient to print here because we're not like doing, okay, here's all of a song. And it got even bigger. Okay, we added a bunch of characters around it. Oh, because we've not actually reset it. It just does both. Oh, and actually, this was checking for existence. So there's probably a stage here, since we're getting the entire high score list. So is it this one that gets completely reset? Every time? Still 520. How do we still have you in here? Oh, did I have to get to this stage? Oh, I guess there is technically an automatic load. Yeah. Hmm. I don't necessarily need to have something if there's no score. But our setup goes through and creates those anyway. Hmm. Technically, none of this needs to exist unless there's a high score list. We were just calculating keys before. $131. So that would be the initial import. Then we would need to update that every time we play. You know, I'm thinking that this has a potential problem. And if you use the native high score system, it takes account of everything that happens. This is only going to account for stuff that happens in this game mode. I might need to have some sort of, well, getting and setting these scores because it's getting a very complicated path here. One of the things I'm looking at, dir type. How do I do string replace? Right char, dump, find, format. Probably gsub. And you need a replacement, which was nothing. All right, once to make sure there's no horrible errors. One oh five. So that's a high score import. We would need to, we need to reference that instead of the high scores and the average thereof, we need to do the incremental updates where the incremental updates maintain a maximum amount. So I think we just, with our selection parameters, we tend to hit certain ones more often. Any of the ones that are up to 3 could represent quite a few more plays. The number of times we have less than 3, there's still quite a few though, which makes me wonder if it even matters. I mean, I guess it could matter eventually. Well, and as soon as you hit this, then you can't represent, you know, bad arrows or anything. So we need some sort of like our own version of like update score, set, get score. So I think the only things we needed out of here was the song and the steps, very similar to this function. We'll still need that a little bit. Can't save the get data quite as conveniently. Okay, nope. None of that. Now this is still only a high score import. Yeah, this is high. This is based on high score list. We only do that if there is. This would be if there is a score. However, that doesn't let us do this. To say we're doing a clean import. The import might still have to reproduce a lot of this stuff. Maybe we need to do something like have my own score list. No, we didn't need that from here either. You're not doing the insert. You are pretty much just returning this. But that doesn't have a guarantee exists. So that reduces you to that. Get score. Well, It would this would be doing an average. Eventually. I'm gonna have to do all of that twice. Maybe for the bulk import we don't do this. Oh, but that's assigning diff stats to something. Is there a function to empty a table? Removes the from table the element at pause. If a process in isn't like the tables, the call removes the last element of the table. Not really. Does pause only work? How does that work for? I guess this is a numerical table essentially, or an array. Will do. Then we insert all the new scores. Save that out. We still have to do this stuff. Yep. One went off. Attempt to call a nil value global get score list. All right, so these probably have to be in the other order. So get score list. Well, and then we're not actually using these right now. That seems like it's growing. Oops. I don't see duplicated values. Oh, we put our empties in again. Right, that doesn't consider the possibility that there's no actual score to insert. But it's going to be the same list. I thought we actually had that sparse before. Only if there is a high score list. I guess the high score list could still be empty. Maybe I put it in high score list and assumed it was done, but it doesn't actually do it. Well, maybe down this far it doesn't matter. If it's actually the same entry, that means we're going to have a different way to write, though, because that's just a reference to the structure. We couldn't assign it doing that. I can't just do a wholesale replacement without changing my little interface there. I would have to go up a level. No, I've jumped way too far. Oh, also I overwrote get score. uh... Naming is hard. Alright, get score. Did I move all the way up? Where did get score list go? We did an oopsie, okay. That would have to return step stats, and we'd have to know what entry we were trying to do. Or we'd have to have that set up to be able to overwrite. You give it the entire list and it overwrites the thing at the bottom. For everything else, the reference to the table will work. It's just when we want to not write anything, if there are no actual scores. But this is like kind of building up its spine the whole way. Maybe we should deal with that. All right, so that would say if this thing is empty, we run like import hide scores. Initialize that means we're gonna have to look at the stats again. Do I need a variable for that? To do $? Oh, DJ. I don't actually have no. That's that's a save, and it always loads when the program starts. Yep, kind of nil value, sanitized profile slot. Keep doing that. Call nil value get score list. Oh, but it down here it did not get moved up above. Got undoed too far. Okay, so that actually shouldn't have imported there. Because we were in a contest where we'd run that. Is there a function equivalent of that? Largest numerical index. Well, this isn't necessarily a numerical table. How about the length operator? If the string length of table T is defined to be any integer index n is not nil. T of n is not nil, so that only applies to arrays, not to key value tables. How do you tell if a table is empty? And that's most efficient. Efficient but wrong. Control operator. Lua next. Pop a key from the stack. That's like meta interface. Allows a program to traverse all fields of a table. So if you're doing it quickly, you would do the local binding. If next table is nil. Now, is this something where you're iterating the table? Second argument is an index. Next returns the next index of the table and its associated value. Okay, so I don't think we're modifying the table. Okay, we did not run the import. That's still our file size. Ooh. Am I even in a position to notice the score of the last run? I don't know that I do the evaluation screen. And there's the 105 again. So that's sufficient to get the high scores. Do I do anything? Stages remaining. Player options after gameplay. Screen profile save. I'm not actually sure what evaluation screen does. To get like most recent score. I mean, if I come into a round, typically you can assume the last stage would have been the most recent. But then if I'm like sitting here reloading and dev is going to replace all this, it's going to wash all the scores. But that's after gameplay, all right. And if I'm reloading the screen, would any state have really changed at all? This might be a... Might have to be something to stash. Do I want to up in themes? Well, we kind of, but I don't have... This is where the active theme is. Screen evaluation in out. Stage display, timing name, life difficulty, timing difficulty, evaluation normal overlay. Recently played. Set command, get current stage, get current course, get course type. Stage to color. This might not be the right element. Underlay, timing difficulty, overwrite timing. Yeah, so that's like one little element. Stage display, life difficulty, it's graphics. So graphics are elements, perhaps? Summary in. Illustration overlay, screen gameplay overlay. Wait, bunch of, well, scatter. Page 1, 2, 3. Get cur stage stats. Get player stage stats. So get cur stage stats. So we've not checked. So we've not yet changed stage. That would be the current stats. So the only thing there would be if we did some sort of screen in, screen out. So does the game engine record the high scores? Or does that get triggered somewhere? Get high score. What actually records it? Is there a thing I can hook into for that? What was this? Branch evaluate screen. Do you have branch, or is that a fallback thing? Fallback branches. Screen evaluation summary. Screen net evaluation. Screen net evaluation normal. After gameplay. Evaluation screen, evaluation screen. After profile save. Well, if you're saving, that would be to save the stats of the recently recorded round. Right? After save, evaluation summary, evaluation screen, normal. After gameplay, well, yeah, Brent's evaluation screen. Yeah, maybe it gets recorded by the game engine. Well, after gameplay, would be something you wouldn't necessarily go through if you were just reloading the screen. So I would almost have to have like a screen update scores. Which would then do this. Unless I get it down to a reasonable piece of code, have that in the globally available stuff, and then just say record recent score. So I need to work out, get the entry, figure out if insert is before or after. At position pause, the default pause is n+1. It starts at the end, but we have to decide if we want the newest entries to be at the end of the beginning. Well, remove the end, remove the beginning. One of our operations is going to be shuffling something. No, I'm actually just feeling the effects of not sleeping well. Average. I think I'm going to table that for now. I guess that could have actually been a full-on stash, but that keeps it nicely labeled. Perhaps you can handle the updates at some other time. So we have the updates, we have actually doing an average. And then using that for our scores, see if it works out any better. But for now, I think I need to do some of this. See if that will wake me up at all. And have lunch and hopefully be back later. Thanks for watching. Thanks to everybody who hosted me. Let's see if I have anything to recommend. Let's see who. That's what I'm usually on. This is one of the I've kind of been trying to move from. I've heard it was good to do exercise in the morning, but I always kind of felt weird getting out of bed and immediately moving around. So moving back towards midday. So the Fridays might end up being cut off a little bit earlier for that. Looks like I do see somebody doing, well, it's web dev. I guess maybe JavaScript stuff is on the same level as Lua. But Developer's Garage is moving a website from, I'm assuming that's WordPress to 11t. I keep meaning to move mine to Jekyll as well. I think actually 11t is probably closer to something I used to use a long time ago. Or I think it feels like the latest incarnation of it. Anyway, Frickman says it's cool to hang out. That's someplace cool to hang out. Thanks for hanging out with me. Goodbye and until next time.